I used to think I was a hustler who could make things happen. Until I moved to Pakistan, I met hundreds of women who showed me what a real hustle looks like. One of these women, Shabir, would approach me at least 2 or 3 times a month, asking if I'd like her to stitch me new garments. She was so persistent. She would say, "Baji, sister, I'm very good and I can do it quickly." And she would, for only $3 or $4. I would go to the market and buy raw cloth, even though I didn't need a new outfit. Another one of these women, Shayla, would have me sitting in awkward positions during waxing appointments at home. Yeah, asking for tips on how to increase her clientele. This kept happening to me. Every Pakistani woman I met was ambitious and determined. She just needed to find an opening. I moved to Pakistan in 2014 for 2 explicit reasons: to serve and to learn. My parents always taught me about this foreign country I was born in and the privileges that I had by virtue of being an American. Most of all, they taught me how I must use those privileges to serve others. But I knew when I moved to Pakistan, I'd learn more than I'd teach. I went in as a researcher for USAID, but had little experience on the ground. I was constantly laughed at. I was told I'd only last 3 months. And I was also robbed at gunpoint. Eventually, though, I fell in love with Karachi and its people. Part of my work there included assessing the impact of vocational training on people's incomes. I was trying to see if the money that's being poured into schools that teach specific trades has any impact on people's lives. The social enterprise I was working for at the time also opened up its doors to women, and we soon found that even though they were being trained, certified, and given guaranteed job placements, women still weren't working. Why was that? Well, after talking to several of these women, we found that there were simply still too many obstacles in their way. And no, it wasn't necessarily sexism and patriarchal norms placing women solely at the center of the home that was preventing them. Oftentimes, it was things like transportation costs being too high or working hours being too long. Rahat, for example, was 21 and certified in stitching. She was able to convince her family to let her go to school and get certified, but she couldn't convince them that a 2-hour total commute time to work in a factory all day and get paid less than $100 a month was worthwhile. And her story isn't uncommon. Even though the female labor force in Pakistan has steadily increased over time, according to the Asian Development Bank, still only 1.5% of women in Pakistan are formally employed. So I decided to work with these kinds of women. Sanya Vakil and I co-founded SuKi Se, an ethical fashion brand that's produced entirely in Karachi. We work with women who are skilled in their crafts as garment workers, but otherwise can't reach work. As soon as we started, I ran into hundreds of problems, which led to hundreds of ideas. But the one that intrigued me most was, what if there was a way to deliver work to women and bring them into the supply chain from no matter where they are, even if it's in the slums of Karachi? I dove into that question. I mapped out the process of making a garment in Pakistan and was determined to bring more women into that process. My team and I set up a network that looped in local suppliers, 15 wonderful women in the slum of Ibrahim Hedri, and a dedicated team coordinator. The system is simple. Materials are delivered and provided to the women in their neighborhood, and the supply chain process we set up kicks in. UZMA cuts the garments, NOURA does the embroidery, and JAHAN stitches the final pieces. Our coordinator, ADIL, does the quality control checks at the end. To the women that we work with, this simple inversion of the supply chain means more than just getting a job. Some of my research in Pakistan showed how just $70 a month drastically altered the course of a family's life. The average household size in Pakistan is 7 people, and the average household income is only $330 per month. So a project like this makes a difference. One dress that NOURA, UZMA, and JAHAN make allows for their kids to have access to better schools and for their elderly to have access to better health care. And I want to take this inversion of the supply chain even further. I believe that we can flip the supply chain so that it's decentralized but efficient. Our current goal is to develop a digital platform that delivers work to women and allows us to conduct quality control checks all at the click of a button. I know that advances in technology can serve the poorest people and allow for us to build more collective, inclusive, and empowering economies. Imagine neighborhood-based collectives where women don't have to go to factories but can produce from where they are. That's what we're working towards, a new economy, one that allows women to dictate where they work, how they work, and when they work. I was asked why women in Pakistan kept approaching me for career advice, so I asked them myself. Shabir said, Baji, you come from a different place with different ideas. I saw you and I thought, maybe she can give me an opportunity. That's what I plan to do. I am in deep gratitude to every Pakistani woman I met because she showed me what a real hustle looks like. And I still have so much more to learn. Thank you.